They're not buying because they don't see the value in it. Not the value in the price, but they don't think they need it.
They don't see the value in the content.
Welcome back to Duo On Air. I'm Abby.
And I'm Courtney.
And we're the ex-agency turned entrepreneurial team that puts the Duo in Duo Collective. Our boutique organic marketing agency specializes in SEO, social media strategy, and branding.
We're an everyday pair of business besties / marketing experts obsessed with helping our community learn more about what it takes to run a business.
Which is why on Duo On Air, we're not holding anything back. We're giving you all the info we know about how to grow your business organically so you can be the confident CEO you were made to be.
And how to navigate life as a small business owner.
Whether it's on your own or with your best friend by your side, so grab your coffee
or your mimosa, we don't judge,
and settle in for a quick value-packed episode of Marketing Tips.
Welcome back to the Duo On Air podcast. This is episode number 140, and today we're talking about why price is not the reason why people aren't buying your stuff. And when people aren't buying our products or booking our services, we tend to freak out, especially right now when everyone's stressing about the price of groceries and that they're equivalent to a small mortgage of your home.
We all need to start gardens and just feeding off of our own land.
I mean, what do you do in Minnesota? You can't garden all year. We're screwed.
We are screwed. We're going to have to turn into hunters.
Oh, man. But this is something that we feel super passionate about. And honestly, we've lived it. Like, this isn't just something that we are telling you because we want to. This is something that we experience time and time again as we launch, as we create packages, as we grow our business. Price is not the factor. Someone isn't going to decide to work with you based on price. And to be fully transparent with you, if that is someone's deciding factor and all they care about is the cheapest option, they're not for us.
Also, if budget is an issue for them, a lot of the times if somebody wants to work with you, like really badly wants to work with you because they see your value obviously outside of what they're going to be paying you, they will most likely bring up the fact that they cannot afford you at the time or that they're going to come back when they can afford you. And that ends up, maybe being a price thing. But sometimes you can talk with them about that, right? You can set up payment plans or whatever. So a lot of the times it really is they understand your value, but maybe like can't afford it at the time. But again, it's not always about price either. So don't just go slashing your prices during a time of scarcity or a time of crickets in your inbox, because that is not hardly ever the issue and what it is.
Yeah. And I think, so this was a really big realization that came to us when we were revamping SEO on Tap. When we initially built this course a long, long time ago, our big focus was, what are all the things included? What is everything you're going to get for this price? What's everything that's included inside? And we were so focused on here's what you're going to get and bulleting out all of those tiny things that we lost perspective on the fact that that's not why people aren't buying. People aren't buying because they don't like the stuff inside or because there's not enough stuff inside or whatever. They're not buying because they don't see the value in it, not the value in the price, but they don't think they need it.
They don't see the value in the content.
Yes.
Or the education that you're trying to share with them.
Yeah. So this is something that we'll talk about. We'll dig into some of the understandings that we got as we were revamping our course and how understanding the whys of why people weren't buying before, how understanding that helped us turn things around and actually bring us our most profitable launch yet because we shifted our focus. So before we talk about that, let's talk about the real reasons why people aren't booking your products, booking your services, buying your products, or buying your offerings. So let's kind of dig into this. So the very first one is that they don't see the value. And again, we're not talking about pricing. We're talking about they don't feel the need for your product. They don't need you. They maybe want it, but that might not be enough. And you need your audience not just to want what you have, but to need it. It's going to change their life. How? How is it going to change their life? And are they understanding that?
So instead of just telling them everything that's in the course, showing them results on how it's helped other clients, like that is a piece of value that you need to show them and bring. Because again, a lot of people know that they need SEO, but they don't have time for it, or they don't see the need of what we are giving them because they kind of figured it out on the back end themselves. Or maybe they don't think they need SEO. Maybe they're like, I have a beautiful website and that's enough to attract anybody. And that is so not the case. We've talked about this plenty of times. So it really is focusing on the right kind of value, which brings us into our second reason why people might not be booking or buying. And that could be a part of your messaging. Like your messaging could be so weak. It could be like just not hitting the points that it needs to, or you could be focusing on the wrong value. It's really asking yourself, like, what are you communicating? And are you focused on price or are you focused on value? And focusing more on the value of why they need it is so much more important than focusing on that price. Because if you convince somebody that they need your product or your service and you show them that value in a different way other than price, they will more times than not find a way to make those funds work. Or if they can't purchase it at that moment, they will save up because they know the value of your program or your product, and they will come back later and purchase.
Mm-hmm. And anytime we're saying value here, we're talking about value beyond price, like
Yes.
not price in terms of value. We also, if you scroll way the heck back on the podcast, episode number 12, we talked with Sarah from BTL about how to write copy that actually converts. That episode gets at the core of what we're talking about here too, of like, is your messaging speaking to your audience? Are you focused on you and what your product has to offer? Or are you focused on your audience and how this thing that you're offering is going to transform their life? I don't want you just to communicate the product, the offering, the service you're providing. We want you to focus on what the outcome is, how you're going to feel afterwards. Like, focus on your audience as you're writing these messages. Another reason why people are probably not buying or booking is that maybe you're not understanding your audience and you aren't reaching the right audience. So this is something we did. And we've done this so many times. We do this a couple times a year.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually talk about this again in a really, really early podcast, number 17, about how to, I know, way back. We're going back to the beginning, but there's some good stuff back there. We talked about how to understand your audience with a simple survey. And we actually walked through what the survey question should be. We still do this. Like, this was a couple years ago that we recorded it. And we still do this for our audience because we need to understand them. We need to understand why they're not buying, why they follow us, why they engage with us, what they're looking for from us. How can we meet them where they are? And one of my favorite questions to ask is like, what are your barriers right now? Like, what are your barriers to business right now? Like, talk to me about that. Because if I know what your problems are, then I can flip the script and talk about how your problems can go away with these solutions. And that's where the magic happens. Like, if you are speaking in that way to your audience, it's no longer I want a rebrand or I want some help on SEO. It's I need that. Like, I need that rebrand for my business. I need that SEO course. I need that thing because this is the results it can give me, and it's going to take away this pain or this barrier, this problem that I'm experiencing right now.
Yes. So number 4 on why people might not be booking or buying is that you haven't built that trust yet. So this is a huge thing in making sure that you're building that trust and that you're communicating with your audience and that you're communicating correctly. So are you only selling or are you educating as well? Or are you only educating and not really selling? So you really have to play that fine line between educating and selling. And if you've ever noticed if somebody just tries to sell, that almost is a turnoff because it seems maybe desperate, but also just salesy and sleazy. And nobody likes that. So And they're also not going to get a value out of it outside of just you trying to sell something, right? They're like, well, you just keep pushing a sale on me, but why? Like, what are the benefits? What are the values that I'm going to get out of buying your product or your service? So, really making sure that you're nurturing your audience and that you're, maybe pulling in some new people into your audience, but really nurturing the audience that you already have and showing them the value through educating, through a little bit of sales, but also through communicating with them on things like Abby just said, like on those pain points. So, really making sure that you're building that trust with them and that they can trust in you and come to you, because somebody's not going to buy your product if they don't trust in you, or your service if they don't trust in you. You need to build that brand trust before they'll ever convert.
Yeah, and a really big way to build that brand trust too is to have an army of affiliates. If people see other people promoting you and promoting your offerings and loving what you have, they're going to trust you. Like, if you have an army of people behind you showcasing that credibility, that's huge. So having an affiliate program, and having an affiliate program that actually like rewards your affiliates too, make sure that they're getting money for actually promoting your offerings and sharing your services and all of that. So
because that's a huge thing for them to do too, right?
Yeah.
Like, they have their own business to think
Yeah.
about. So the fact that they're going to be an affiliate for your program and put that out there, or your product or your service or whatever, that is asking them to do something a little bit above and beyond, and making sure that you're rewarding them for taking that time and doing that.
Yeah.
They're taking time away from their business to try to help you within yours.
And if you don't have a product to sell where like an affiliate program doesn't make sense, do a referral program. Like, for someone referring your services, a past client or a business friend, give them a percentage of the project scoped, or just like some extra big thank you. Like, I'll give you $50 to Starbucks or something like that. Just something that is going to motivate people to share your offerings and build that trust with someone who doesn't yet know you. Like, if they're not in your universe, you better bet that I'm going to have a lot more trust in that person if I got a referral from someone else first.
Yes.
And then finally, the last piece of why people aren't booking you, and this, these 5 ideas are really, really big ones. There could likely be other ideas. There's going to be outliers out there, but these are 5 really big reasons that people aren't booking, that people aren't buying, that are not related to price. And the last piece of it is that you're missing credibility. You're missing testimonials. You're missing case studies. You're missing the stories. The stories tell so much. So capture a story. Like, even if you don't get a testimonial from someone, hop on the call with someone you've worked with and ask them to tell you a story about their experience afterwards. Or just find ways to incorporate more storytelling of your testimonials and your experiences, because people remember stories. Stories are so memorable, and those are amazing things you can weave into your email strategy when you're selling things or when you're trying to book your offerings.
I think too, for like product-based businesses, like how, like, let's say it's like some sort of like a natural care or something like that, before and afters, like showing things like proof. It's that proof that people want to see before they purchase. And reviews, like, how often are you reading reviews? I know Abby does this all the time, is you read reviews before you purchase something, right? Because especially if it's a big ticket item, because you want to make sure that what you're purchasing, other people can vouch for and other people love. So if you're reading reviews and everybody's raving about it and like sharing their stories within those reviews, then you're feeling more confident to purchase it. But if you're reading really awful reviews, you might not buy that product or that service or go to that restaurant.
And I'd argue the higher the price point, the more important this all is.
Yes.
Especially the credibility and the trust piece. You need to build trust and credibility before someone's going to drop a large amount of dollars behind an offering or a product you have.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about SEO on Tap for a second, because this was probably like the biggest aha moment in our business, where we were like, we can slash the price all we want. We can throw waitlist bonuses. We can throw discounts. We can throw whatever we want behind this course. But at the end of the day, those are not the drivers. People are not our most amount of purchases against the course were not driven by any type of discounted price offer.
Or exclusivity or
Yeah.
extras or wait listers.
Yeah.
None of that played a role in it.
None of that. So we really wanted to understand before we rebuilt the course. So before we even took the old SEO on Tap course that was from a few years ago and revamped it, we sent out a survey to our email list asking how people felt about SEO with a few prompted questions. And we captured everything. We basically wanted one answer of like, how do you feel about SEO and why? And the amount of people that responded saying they don't believe they can do SEO on their own was astonishing. So many people understand the importance of SEO, but they don't believe that they can do it on their own, and they don't believe that they can get results.
Therefore, they are not going to purchase a course that they'd have to do on their own because they don't believe they could do it or learn it or get the results after they do it.
You see how big of an aha moment that is? It doesn't matter what the course costs. It truly doesn't matter unless we change the mindset behind SEO, unless we help people understand that SEO can be easy. Because look at the industry of SEO. There are so many people out there that make SEO complicated and jargon filled, and they
like
do.
Can't
and you can't do
SEO
it.
without
You need an
them.
expert.
That
Yeah.
you need them, and you need them full time, and that you'll never understand it. That's why they're there, and that is so far from the truth.
And our work is cut out for us because of that.
Yes.
Like, we have to shift a mindset that has been ingrained in people for years and years and years. And that's something that we did during our first launch of this course. We focused on flipping that script and removing the barriers. We focused on teaching people how to make SEO easy. We have a whole series in our email list dedicated to one simple thing you can do to update your SEO. We remove jargon, and we speak and we educate and we help make SEO easy. And because that is a part of our brand and what we do, we see the conversion. We see people buying the course and investing in the course because they truly believe that they can conquer SEO, and they are. Like, we're seeing it. We're seeing the results. And the more people join the course, the more of those stories we can tell, and the more of the 4 and 5, building trust and building credibility, we can focus on as we launch this course. But we don't need to focus on adding more. The course is great.
And we don't need to focus on slashing prices.
No, we don't need to slash prices. We don't need to do discounts. We don't need to do waitlisting offers. We just need to help communicate the fact that you can do it. You can do SEO and you can see results, and we'll teach you how. And when you understand that behind what your offerings are in your course or your products, when you understand what the barriers are, you can flip the script. You don't have to focus on price. You can usually increase your price, honestly, because you're understanding the value and you're able to conquer the barriers. So that is our challenge for you today. Our challenge for you is to sit down and think about what those barriers are to your offerings and find ways to tackle them. And if you don't know, survey your audience and ask them. So get to it.
If you like this episode, please be sure to share it with a friend and subscribe so you don't miss any new episodes dropping every Monday. Plus, if you haven't already, please go ahead and leave us a review, and don't hesitate to share any new episode ideas. We absolutely love hearing from you and creating this content for you. See you next week.